I'm talking to Jackie Keefe today, who is a Renestance client who moved to France a few years ago, and Renestance accompanied Jackie and her husband through their administrative procedures here and found them a place to live. So we're going to ask Jackie a few questions about her life here in France. So when did you exactly arrive in France, Jackie?
Hi, Nicole. We arrived 5 years ago. It would be 5 years and 3 weeks.
So just about the 5-year mark.
Yes, that's right. Yes, yes.
Flown
by.
I'm sure it has. And so where have you moved to in France?
Into a little village called Tarbes, which is near to Pézenas. Which is about an hour's drive away from Montpellier. So we're down here in what they call the true south of France, because it really is south. Yes.
Excellent. Oh, that's great. And what's your village like?
It's growing now. It was only about 1,000 people when we first arrived, but as in most places in the world, new housing has been installed, and there's probably another 250 people now. So it's still a small village with a bar, which is the kind of hub, and quite a number of English-speaking people, but so say 50 of us. A very friendly rural community. Because it's amongst the vines. We're in the big winemaking region of Languedoc.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
It sounds really good. So what do you like best about your French lifestyle down here?
I think it's the relative slowness of it. There's no rushing. So, for instance, the French take a 2-hour lunch break. When we first got here, we just couldn't get our head around it, because come 12 o'clock, everything shuts, and it stays shut for 2 hours, all except the supermarkets. And it did take a little while. I'd only just retired, and my husband was still working. Anyway, now 5 years on, we wouldn't have it any other way. I think a 2-hour lunch break is the only way to go when it comes to work, because you do, say, 8 till 12, 2 hours lunch, and then 2 until 5 or 6. And of course, the shops are open in the evenings here. So, no, it's that pace of life that I love.
Okay, yeah, but the screen froze a little bit. Slow pace of life here that you like. That's good. Good information for other people wanting to move here, just to be prepared for the slower pace of life. And that's probably one of the reasons they'll be moving here. The attraction.
Exactly. Yes. And it doesn't mean that you can't get things done. You just refocus. You just refocus yourself. Yeah.
That's great. Good. So how did Renestance help you achieve your dream?
Well, we'd wanted to come and live in France for about 10 years before we actually moved over. And when we finally made the decision, I knew that we would need some help and found you via the internet. And the response I got from you was so warm and welcoming. And you raised a whole number of issues that I wouldn't actually have thought of. And so you gave us a kind of checklist of things that we needed to do before actually moving over. For instance, I remember that you arranged for us to go into the bank. And of course, that was the weekend of the big snow. But you met us in Pézenas, and we went into the bank, and you took charge, and it was just easy. And things like getting the car, good, because we kept our English car, and getting it changed over to French registration, and that
because of course that was before Brexit when you could do that easily. Now, of course,
it's more difficult, is it now? Okay. Yes, we sneaked in before Brexit, thankfully.
You did.
And yes, you helped us with things that worried us, like, well, what about getting a carte de séjour? And you convinced us that, yes, it was necessary, but we didn't need to get it immediately. And you just eased so many of our worries. And for that first year, I knew that you were there and called on you, and you always responded. And of course, you had the team behind you as well, who helped sort out bringing my pension over and looking at our investments. And, you know, it's
our trusted Anglophone partners.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes. Great. Well, I'm glad that you are happy with everything and how everything went.
Yes.
And that you're happy with Renestance. That's given me a warm glow, and I'm sure the rest of the team.
Well, you know, I love it that you're still there, even though we're 5 years in. We're still in touch. And I know that I could send you an email, you would respond within, well, sometimes within minutes, but certainly within 24 hours. And it might be a simple thing, or it might be a more complicated thing, but you would be there to help us and sort it. And I love it.
Always. That's how we like to operate, Jackie. You hit the nail on the head. Would you like to conclude with a few words about CSF, Cancer Support France, and any other subjects close to your heart?
Okay. You invited us to the Renestance meeting. I've forgotten the name of it, but it was where we met all your partners.
It was our in-person seminar.
In Montpellier, it was.
Yeah, it's the seminar.
We met the other Renestance people, but we met your partners as well. And you'd also invited people to come and talk about the social side, not just the business side of things. And there was somebody from a charity, Cancer Support France, Languedoc, which is our region. And she got up and spoke and said that they were looking for somebody to do administration. Well, my hand shot up, it almost without my permission. And that's because I'd said to myself that when I retire, I will do some charity work. I don't know what, but I will. And so it just tapped into that bit of me. And I've been in various roles within the charity for the last 4 years. I joined them in the first year we were here. And they do such great work supporting English-speaking people who are affected by cancer, whether they are suffering or whether they have a family member who's suffering. And I'm still working for them today, totally voluntary. And it's a really great association.
That's great. And you've just had an event at the weekend.
Yeah.
Tell us quickly a short bit about that.
Our annual event called Walk for Life. And even during the pandemic, we organised it so that people did their own individual walks in groups of 10 people, because that was the limit you were allowed to meet up with, from all over the world, Canada, here, UK. And this year we think we've raised 4,400 euros. And it was amazing. A rainy day. We did lose some walkers, but the majority of our walkers came. And it was such fun. We always have a lunch at the end of it, some fish and chips. And everybody left feeling as though they'd done something worthwhile, which they had, and just elated from the day. So
yeah, I can vouch for that, having been there. For the fish and chips, but not the rainy walk.
No, it's excellent, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay, well, that's lovely. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, Jackie, today.
My pleasure, Nicole.
safe onward journey.
Thank you. We're just off for a couple of days, about 4 days in Spain. Since we're so close to the Spanish border, we're having a few days away. Another of the joys of living here.
Exactly that. Exactly that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed, Jackie.
Okay, Nicole, thank you. Au revoir.